he's trying to rescue both his kids here. He's got his biological son, which is Beta, and his adopted daughter, Maisie Lockwood, have both been kidnapped by the Russians or by the Koreans or whatever the fuck they go going with. Who are the Treadstone? Julia Stiles is there in a toilet. She's got the headphone on. She's like, oh, we're spying him. Jason Bourne's in the building. Everyone are good. Yeah, the last shot of the film probably should have been Brad Silas Howard just in a cabin, like, mucking about. She gets a phone call. Dude, what's that unknown number? He picks up the phone. Hello, and then you hear Matt Damon's voice, like, this is Jason Bourne. He's like, what do you want? And then get some rest, Claire. You look tired. And then she looks out the window like, and then cuts to Jason Bourne in the woods, like with his binoculars. Puts him binoculars down. Like,
get some rest, Claire. You're tired. Hello and welcome to Two Wheels Podcast. My name is Liam Reedy and welcome to our 50th episode. Today we were talking about Jurassic World Dominion. But first I just want to say thank you to everyone who's given us a listen so far as we now come around to a landmark episode. So to everyone who has given us a listen, a share, like on either Facebook, Twitter or Instagram, anywhere you get your podcast from listening to us, I just want to say thank you. So in the second episode ever of Two Wheels Podcast, where we were talking about the Jurassic World movies as part of the Jurassic Park saga, two-part episode to start off the podcast, all the way back in September of 2020. We actually forgot to do our ratings for the two Jurassic World movies. So starting off this episode where that one left off, we're going to get down to our ratings for those movies. So thank you to everyone who's given us a download or a listen over those nearly 2 years. So let's get into the 50th episode of Two Reels Podcast.
I think by the end of the last podcast, we were several beers in, and we were so caught up in laughing and taking the piss out of Jurassic Picard World, Fallen Kingdom, that we forgot to do the ratings.
Yes,
we've never done it's been 2 years, and our diehard fans, they've been begging us for the ratings.
2 years and 49 episodes later, because recording this now, it's our 50th episode.
That's right.
Which is, I didn't think we'd get this far.
No. And how appropriate that it should be.
I know, it was good timing.
Jurassic Park.
It really, it kind of fell that way. It wasn't really too planned. I did kind of like, when I was looking at like what's coming out and stuff, I was a little bit like, okay, we'll do Top Gun and like me and Sam, and then we'll have like one of the Disney Plus shows or something. It wasn't really like, it has to be Jurassic World Dominion. It was more just okay, that's a possibility.
Yeah,
let's just make sure.
On it.
Yeah.
It could have been another 10 movies to see before you die.
Yeah,
which we do need to do another episode of.
I mean, I've got at least 4.
Same. So, I've got a list on my phone that I just keep adding.
Oh,
to.
Really? Oh, nice.
And I've actually been discussing. A lot of people have approached me. I say approach me. Like, they've come up to randoms in the street. Oh my god, you from Two Reels Podcast?
When you're walking through Soho town, people stopping you in the street.
When I'm admiring my star on the boulevard. Yeah. No, people I know who have listened to the podcast have all said to me that among their favourite episodes are the list ones.
Yeah.
And they really like 10 films to see before they die.
Yeah. Because
they find that very accessible.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You don't have to have seen anything prior to listen to the podcast.
And it could, and our picks are so random and obscure that there's something for everyone there's at least one for everyone in the episode.
100%.
Although everyone I've spoken to has said...
Fuck off.
that your picks are really, really obscure and like just
I knew it was coming.
Out there.
I know, right.
And just
just wait till the next episode.
Like what? Like haven't heard of hardly any of them.
Just wait till the next episode. I'm not quite going like. I'm not going full like. There's like a French auteur movie.
yeah.
They're all going to be pretty much like.
La Pomme et de la Belle.
Yeah.
Directed by Claude Makelele.
But yeah, so we'll definitely get to that soon, I think.
Yeah,
because we're well into the territory of needing another episode, especially because I keep watching films and I'm like, I keep adding it to the list.
Right,
I've probably got enough to do
another 2 episodes.
Yeah, an episode with yourself, and then probably our initial episode follow on, which was going to be with Sam.
Yeah,
and I mean, I can't wait to hear what Sam's are. So
unless we did a 3-way one, and we called it.
We'll do 20
episodes. 20 film sequence.
No, we'll still call it 10 more films to see before
another, or
unfortunately, that crams it down to like I'll get 3, you'll get 3, and Sam will get 4.
Right. So ratings for Jurassic World. Now, what's it out of?
For Jurassic World, it should be out of. Should just be out of.
I mean, there's so many dumb things in that film. It's hard to pick one.
The first thing I wanted to do it out of is out of runnable high heels.
Runnable high heels is a good one. Yeah, those Minority Report sphere things.
Yep.
The Indominus Rex.
Just
not only being able to turn invisible like the Vanquish and Die Another Day.
Well, I know what
also it knows like complex security systems and how to get around them somehow.
I've definitely got one for Fallen Kingdom.
Oh yeah, well of course.
There's loads for that one as well. Like smiling dinosaurs.
Yeah,
you know,
crying dinosaurs.
Yeah, when it's like playing dead in the cage.
And it like winks.
Camera.
Yeah. All right, what about...
it's like it's in a fucking Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Yeah, that's literally what it's like. What about the... for the Jurassic World then? Oh, what about like Blue and the T-Rex and Chris Pratt giving each other like nods of like, well done. No, well done you. Yeah.
Maybe we should just do it out of 5 love affairs with a dinosaur. I mean...
Okay, yeah, 5 love affairs, yeah. So, do you want to go first? You go first.
I give it a 1.5.
Yeah, wow.
1 for being a film, because I know how hard making movies is.
Yeah.
And then the half because...
Yeah.
Again, like, it's a Hollywood film, and it's got some good craftsmanship.
Yeah.
I mean, someone needs to dial the saturation down a little bit, but I feel like some of the shots and stuff are really good.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Like, what else can I say about a film that we publicly have, said is probably one of the worst?
Yeah. Do you know what? I think if we'd done these ratings at the time, I might have rated it a bit higher. It might have been more generous. But actually, over time, and by time I mean like the 2 years that have passed since episode 1, my detest for these movies has only grown.
Yeah. Exacerbated by this new one as well.
Yeah. And the thing about this first film was, and I think I mentioned this in the first episode, was I was really angry with about this film. I've really gone through the emotions on all 3 of these films. For Jurassic World, it was anger. Fallen Kingdom, it was just hilarity.
Yeah.
And then I think with Dominion, it was disappointment.
Oh, I thought you were going to say hatred.
No, hatred's like the general one.
Okay.
But just such a waste of potential. Really. Crap. I mean, we've already covered it. If you go back and listen to episode 2 even, which was part 2, where we do Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdoms for our full review.
Yeah.
But I'm going to agree, 1.5 dinosaur love affairs, because it honestly, it's just garbage. It's cinema garbage at its most
egregious.
Yeah.
At its most like flamboyant, like look what we've created, and everyone's very happy about like look what we've done, look what we've produced, and I'm like, but it's utter trash.
And the love for it as well. Not only
I know,
especially at the time, but even now, that annoyed me as well. And yeah, just purely for the fact that after Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I didn't think that I could be more annoyed and let down and angry by a fourth instalment of a beloved trilogy. And then Jurassic World came along, totally blew Kingdom of the Crystal Skull out the water.
Took a massive T-Rex size shit on it.
I mean, I'm sure we've said this before, but
and for Fallen Kingdom, I'm going to give it out of 5 winks to the camera by a dinosaur playing dead.
Nice.
I'm going to give it 1.
Yeah.
Because it's worse.
Yeah.
But I have to give it, like, I would say we're allowed to give a film 0. Or have I said before that we can't give a film 0?
I can't remember.
But if
I can't remember. It's been 2 years.
The rules have kind of gone out the window.
We make them up every episode.
I know. But that's the point is that it's it takes an army of people to make a film.
Yeah.
And I do just feel bad for them, because if you worked on it, and I know it can be tough because you worked hard, and people like us will just like knock it to the floor, and give it some good criticism, quite rightly, and some that's just like, that's shit, offhanded comments. I feel like we're a mix of like we can tell the details on why we don't like it and we do like it, or we think it's good or we think it's bad. But then also at times, because sometimes when it is bad, because I'm disappointed, I'm lazy with my comments and I'm just like, oh, it's just shit.
Yeah.
But I feel bad for people who worked on the film because they worked hard. Especially from the bottom upwards. As you get progressively higher, the decisions get worse. Do you know what I mean? Like, so from the bottom, like hard work for people who like set designers, costume designers, things like that. People who are trying to sneak in like little Easter eggs to the other films, the actual good films, without going too far. And then when you get to the top, the actual decision making on script and directing and stuff like that, that's when it gets shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I can understand the people below, like, who worked hard, and I'd love to have worked on it myself, but then you get to the top and it's like the decisions were not great, and it turned out to be a film that I can't give more than one rating because of how bad it is. Like from the top up, and it's just so just 1. I can't bring myself to give it anything higher.
I'm gonna give Fallen. I'm gonna do mine actually. I'm gonna do a different one.
That's fine. There's many to choose from, so
I'm gonna do mine out of dinosaur blood transfusions.
I mean,
so,
I mean, isn't there there's not a blood transfusion in the Lost World, is there? No, just
Fallen
making
Kingdom.
sure. Just Fallen Kingdom.
No, in the Lost World, they fix the baby T-Rex's broken leg.
That's it.
That's all they do. They just click it back in place.
Something that's far more realistic.
I know.
When talking about creatures that died 65 million years ago, more realistic to have it reset its leg, like someone who knows about dinosaurs. Christ, this film's bad. No, I'm gonna give it a 0.5. 0.5. Nice.
So a half, basically, a dinosaur blood transfusion out of 5. This film is garbage.
Not enough blood to really do a transfusion. More drop in terms of this rating.
But I mean, again, go back.
That's for Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom, Go back and listen to the episode 2, I believe, of the Two Reels podcast, where we do Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom. It's only an hour long, so it's probably one of our shortest.
Cool, I mean, I'm going to try it.
I listened to it this morning.
Did you? Oh, nice.
Literally in an hour. So
I mean,
it's very funny as well because we're quite drunk at this one, so there's a lot of laughter.
I don't get drunk on these podcasts as much as I'd like.
Same.
As much as I think is necessary for us to make an entertaining product.
I mean. This film is garbage. I mean, everything is just garbage. I mean, there's so many things that but like the laser gun thing and the blood transfusion, and The terrible characters. I mean, the characters are god awful. The plot is all over the fucking shop. The action sequences are ridiculous, but then again, just when I thought that, you know, the action scenes couldn't get any more ridiculous, along comes Jurassic World Dominion. But, you know, it's got like Chris Pratt running from flowing lava that's coming out of a volcano, whilst all these other dinosaurs are running. Bear in mind that I think they established in Jurassic Park that the T-Rex alone can run at like 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a behind the scenes on Fallen Kingdom.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of that people who are they might have been paleontologists, I think.
Yeah.
Where they're like looking at the scene where all of the dinosaurs are like running away from the volcano eruption.
Yeah.
And they're just like, these creatures don't move like that.
Yeah.
You know, they all look like they don't have like any weight to them.
Yeah.
They look like video game characters.
They're like running along.
Yeah, and all at various different speeds, and
Yeah.
it's just they're like, this is really weird. And then what they did was they showed them a shot from the original Jurassic Park, and then they just compared the two in terms of like how they manufactured the dinosaurs to look more realistic, and to trick your brain into thinking that they're more real. They have like I said, that they have a certain weight and a certain movement to them, that your brain instinctively just thinks, yeah, that something that is shaped like that and like that big would move like that. Where they just throw it all out the window. They just don't care with Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
And by extension, the first of the three and this one, you know, they're all just toys, aren't they? They're all just
exactly.
You know, the one of the most batshit crazy things is when he wrangles one. When Chris Pratt, he like lassos one, doesn't he?
Oh, okay. We're moving on to Dominion now.
Yeah, let's just fucking crash right in.
Yeah.
Because it's so full of ridiculousness that we have to start somewhere. And this was the first bit of the film where I was just thinking, he'd be dead. You know?
Same. I rolled my eyes and groaned at this point.
There was...
but Owen's a super soldier.
He is Captain America.
He is. Yeah. He's. I mean, they say he's like ex-Navy SEAL. So that in any kind of lazy screenwriting or shit B movie,
first
all
drafts,
they've got to say is, oh, he's ex-Navy SEAL, or he's ex-CIA, or he's just ex whatever. It doesn't even matter. Oh, he was with an agency.
Yeah.
And it's he can inexplicably do anything because of that. Yeah. So because Owen's ex-Navy SEAL, he can lasso a 4-ton animal and
on a horse.
On a horse. No, he's not on the horse. He's on the ground.
Oh no, he is. Yeah.
So he uses his own body weight to stop a 40-ton dinosaur, but he doesn't even lasso him straight on. He lassos it, and then he wraps the rope round a rock.
Yeah.
And then he holds onto it.
Yeah.
And that actually stops. I mean, how much does an elephant weigh? It's 1 ton, right?
Tons,
a ton.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think elephants weigh a ton.
Around a metric.
This dinosaur is about twice the size of an elephant.
Yeah.
So we're talking 2 tons minimum, and Chris Pratt can stop it with his own strength. Yeah, I mean, so he must. You know, they obviously don't say it in the script, but he must be some sort of like mutant. Like he must have been experimented on. Maybe he was in like the same program as Wolverine. We don't know at this point. Yeah. Anything's possible in these films.
Honestly, that bit where that happens, I couldn't really take the rest of I know I wasn't supposed to, but I couldn't take any of the rest of what was going to happen seriously.
It's like, here we fucking go.
Yeah, it was genuinely, this is it. Like they've gone full bullshit and they're not going to step back. You know, whereas Jurassic World, for all of its faults, and they are numerous.
Yeah.
Even with like the running high heels, all of the bullshit between like Blue and like being able to tame raptors, you know, I feel like it had a tiny toe.
Yeah.
In reality,
a tiny bit of realism. Yeah.
It had enough for me to forgive certain aspects where you're like, okay, the next bit, I'm sure they'll like, I'm sure that's it, bullshit, and this one was like, no, throw it all out the window, like physics, what you perceive as reality, and something that just, if they had these aspects in movies more, especially mainly just ones that are set in today, or like Earth, or with humans, not like aliens and like in space and stuff. If they just had like one foot in reality and then the other in the fantastical story, you can connect the two.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can forgive certain things on one side because you've got the other. Just another one to add to the list of disappointing legacy characters being misused, as if we didn't have one already in, Han, Leia, Luke Skywalker from the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, at least we got to, at least they were on screen together.
Yeah.
In this film,
silver lining,
and they were involved in the plot, such as it is. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think we came out of this film and I was like, I remember thinking, I don't know, I felt confused. I felt like out of the three, this was my favourite.
I know, yeah, same here, yeah.
But
that doesn't really mean much.
I think that's because we had the legacy characters, as they're now known, in the movie world, returning and involved, and we actually saw all three of them.
Yeah.
So we actually got what we wanted from The Force Awakens. But the more I've thought about it, right, the more, as I said, disappointed I am with this film, and I actually feel a bit angry about it as well. It's annoying because, it tricked me again. They fucking filmmakers fooled me again into.
Fool me once, shame on you.
Yeah.
Fool me twice,
I'm a
shame
cunt.
on me.
Yeah, beat that out.
Fool me thrice. Fuck you.
Go fuck yourself.
You go fuck yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. That is the saying, right?
Yeah,
so, well, I mean,
Oscar Wilde. Yeah.
They didn't fool me 3 times because I knew I knew Fallen Kingdom was going to be pants. So, but this one, I don't know. I thought by bringing back those characters, they might salvage it, right? And also, what is it? Colin Trevorrow said that this was the plan all along. This was the film. This was the Jurassic Park film I wanted to make all along from the start. Was with the dinosaurs all out, right, in the world, right? Hence the name of the film, whatever. So it's like, well, if this is the big thing that you've been leading up to, and this is like this is labelled as like the end of the Jurassic saga kind of thing, the big grand finale. And yet it was just such a massive letdown and such a massive disappointment. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, first of all, like the whole concept, right, of this Jurassic World. I mean, first of all, what I don't understand, if this was the plan all along, right, why didn't they just do that in the first Jurassic World film? Because it occurred to me the other day, in Jurassic Park 3, right, there's an inexplicable bit at the start where the boat just like goes into some fog and then comes out of the fog and it's all like ripped to bits.
Yeah.
But yet they're like on the coast. So it's like, did a dinosaur do that? And if so, is it in the sea?
Yeah.
And if it's in the sea, why doesn't it just swim away?
Yeah.
So that's a bit weird. And then you've got the Spinosaurus who can swim.
Yeah.
So again, you think, well, why would the Spinosaurus... Well, I guess Spinosaurus can't swim to the ocean, but still. And then at the end of that film, the, pterodactyls, whatever they're called, escape, right?
Yeah.
So you could have done Jurassic World. You could have done that for the first film.
Yep.
That could have been about, the InGen once again took a bunch of dinosaurs off East Sauna and it all went tits up, just like it did at the end of The Lost World.
You didn't need any of the Lost World bar, like, certain bits that could have been a precursor or like a pre-credit scene to Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'd make Fallen Kingdom a lot better.
Yeah.
But you didn't need Jurassic World at all. It was purely made for the... it was like Force Awakens, where it was just like, it's a copy-paste job, but it's bigger.
Yeah. So for the park to get destroyed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly.
So I understand what you mean. Like, when I watched Jurassic Park 3 on a rewatch recently, I was thinking they could have just had Jurassic World Dominion take off the world, add park, and they could have just had the... I know it's everyone's least favourite bit of The Lost World is when the dinosaurs are... Well, the T-Rex is in San Diego.
Yeah. A whale's vagina. Yeah.
But fantastic Anchorman reference there, man. That was very quick. I like that. But so the groundwork, like you said, was there for it to not just be a rehash the next movie, whatever it be after 3, but it could have led to a scenario that was like Fallen Kingdom, where the world is like trying to get their heads around. Civilization is trying to like deal with like having dinosaurs, which is a good concept if done extremely well. Yeah. But this film is the other side of the spectrum where it's done really poorly. Yeah. With characters who are like we just mentioned, who are just like, they're like caricatures or cartoons. You know, like, they're written badly. Like, yes, he's an ex-Navy SEAL and he's in love with a velociraptor. Yeah. You know, it sounds like something like, you know, the next iteration of, like, the Flintstones and, like, the Jetsons. And then, like, oh, there's a man from today who's in love with a dinosaur. Yeah. It's, like, cartoony shit. But you're like, this is a real movie and it made, like, $1 billion. It's fucking mental. I know. So... Yeah, the idea is always interesting because there's loads of good ideas out there, and there's loads of good ideas that you can do with Jurassic Park. Yeah, they decided to do none of them. Yeah, they decided to do none of them well. Yeah, put it that way. It's
weird that, you know, I mean, I said this in the last podcast, but they decided, you know, for some reason, they thought, what is considered by many to be the lowest point in the franchise, well, the second lowest point in the franchise after Ellen. But they decided to take the most sort of, the lowest point in the franchise, the most divisive point, the end of The Lost World, where the T-Rex is let loose in the whale's vagina. And everyone hates that. I hate that. I think it spoils the film. It's a really decent, great sequel if it ends before that bit. That bit tacked on at the end really brings the film down. And
it does feel tacked on, though, doesn't it?
It's such a shame. So they thought, oh, I know, here's a great idea for a movie or a franchise. Let's take that sequence from The Lost World that nobody liked and thought was really out of place and rubbish and turn it into a whole concept. I mean, and you know, people. I don't know. People like that idea. People thought I don't like that idea. Right. I think what makes Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park and The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, what I really think makes them work is the fact that it's a small group of people stuck in a place, an island,
isolation with no safety.
Right, and they're in the dinosaurs' habitat. And the thing about these films is they're survival films. They're well, no, they're not B movies, but they're A movie creature features.
Yes.
But they're mainly survival films. They're not. Whereas these Jurassic World films, they're just sort of mind-numbingly sort of stupid action set piece. They're action adventures now, right? They're Mission Impossible films with dinosaurs.
Whoa. Let's not drag Mission
No,
Impossible.
no, I'm saying that they're copying Mission Impossible.
Look, Mission Impossible is on the up.
Listen. I love the Mission Impossible franchise.
World is on the down.
The Mission Impossible franchise just get better and better with every film.
It's like the exception to the rule where sequels don't really work.
It is. It really is.
It's the complete opposite. We'll get to that, but I completely agree. Where one of the best aspects about it is you're so far from safety.
Yeah.
On an island, you're in their habitat,
exactly.
Especially in 2 and 3. It's like you're in their world now.
Yeah.
Their Jurassic world.
Yeah. Oh.
Cue the music.
So.
No. That's part of many other factors that make Jurassic Park, Lost World Jurassic Park, and Jurassic Park 3
Nice.
Brilliant to good movies.
Yeah.
So it's taking them out of it. As much as I have said, like, oh, it could be good if done well. If it's even just slightly off of great, it's shit.
Yeah.
So it goes from like a concept which, like, if done expertly, is fantastic, to like it's just too similar to other things like Godzilla or like King Kong or like say creature features where they're like, oh, it's a giant creature in our civilization. How will we cope?
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, the answer is we would just like Maverick would just have an F-15 and just fucking cruise missile the shit out of a T-Rex, and that would be it. Like there'd be no. It doesn't matter about the collateral damage.
Yeah.
Like honestly, if one hit, it'd be dead because it's a fucking fleshy monster and it's a £1 million missile. That would be the answer. Like as soon as someone phones into the National Guard, there's a dinosaur, like, and with evidence, there's a dinosaur on like American soil.
Yeah,
that's it. Like they'd be bombing the shit out of it.
Yeah,
they'd be like, get it to somewhere where there's like less civilians. We'll drop something on it, and it will die. Like that's it. Like it'll be a shit movie. But that's just realistically.
Yes.
I know it sounds really shit. Like I'm saying, realistically, if a dinosaur was loose in America, but the answer would be they would shoot it to shit,
100%.
the movie would just be over.
Yeah.
We know characters like trying to save the day.
Yeah,
there'd just be an explosion and it'd be dead.
Yeah, but the thing about this movie, the thing about this film though is the whole concept of this film, the whole sort of philosophical narrative is. Can we live in a world? Can human beings? Sorry, what's that, officer? Sorry, the woke police have just. Sorry, officer. Non-gender specific.
Being of ape descent.
Homo sapiens.
God's sake, Harry.
And dinosaurs. Live together.
Get their names right. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. That's the whole thing, right? And then the filmmakers and the Colin Trevorrow, whatever, and they've all said, "Oh, this is the film we wanted to make. Dinosaurs in the world, right?" But we don't even fucking get that. Like, we don't even get that. The dinosaurs they're not. This film isn't even about dinosaurs. The main two plots of this film are the locust plague and Clone Girl, like, sort of discovering like who she is or whatever.
Yeah.
There's like a espionage kidnap side plot where Captain America, Chris Pratt, who is like a super soldier, whatever, Wolverine, and Bryce Dallas Howard, who now has gone from uptight businesswoman in the first film to like random sort of conservationist eco warrior in the second film.
Literally BuzzFeed eco warrior.
Now in the third film, she's also just some like really tough action chick who does like Bourne stunts. I mean, at one point she literally does a move that straight out. They've literally copied. She does that shot where she's running along the roof, the camera's following her, tracking shot, and she jumps off the roof
through a window.
Through a window as the camera follows. That's literally the same fucking shot as in the one where Tom Cruise broke his leg.
Iconic in the Bourne films.
Well, no, in the Mission Impossible. Oh, it's in Bourne.
It's in the Bourne. Yeah. The second one, is it?
Sorry, yeah, they did it. Bourne did it first.
Yeah.
Then they ripped off Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
And then now they're doing it. And anyway, my point is,
I love that shot from the Bourne series, but as soon as they did it in this, it felt like I was watching a parody film. Yeah. It was like I was watching Hot Shots Part 3.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
what it
about
is.
dinosaurs. I couldn't think of any other parody movie.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? So the dinosaurs in this film, there's so many dinosaurs. There's so many CGI fucking dinosaurs. Most of them we've never seen before, haven't heard of. Oh, great, here comes fucking, feather on his head with long clawsaurus. Oh no, it's this one with a big horn on his head. Like, we've never fucking heard of that one before, because we all grew up with, in the 90s, when we had like a sort of, there was like not as many dinosaurs had been discovered back then, so we knew your basic dinosaurs, right? Your Tyrannosaurus, your Triceratops, your Stegosaurus, basically all the Power Rangers, right? So now there's all these other dinosaurs that archaeologists have discovered that we don't know anyway. But the dinosaurs in this film, they're not even like, the main plot isn't even about them. They're just plot devices. They're just there to create cool action sequences, like the whole, where is it they go? Fucking Cairo or Marrakesh or Morocco, somewhere. They go on some sort of international spy mission to not even to just to find out where the clone girl's been kidnapped, and they're there and they meet like the pilot lady, can't remember her name. She's a lady who has a plane and she's a pilot.
She thinks she's in the fucking 40s.
That's her character arc. It's and then they meet her, and there's this like dinosaur black market. It's like something out of Jumanji. It's like a like a level in Jumanji or something. And they go there, and then there's this whole stupid fucking scene. I mean, I remember. I think Sam said it was his favourite scene in the film. Of course, he said that.
It's because it was the Fast and the Furious with raptors.
Yeah, it's so fucking dumb. Like they go this, then it's like some like shady woman there we never see again. She's like, oh, yeah, you guys from the CIA, think you can catch me? Think again. And then she like presses a button, and the raptors come out. And of course, and another thing as well. What was one of the dumbest fucking things from Fallen Kingdom was the fact that they had this gun, right?
The laser
You
gun.
point a laser at someone and you pull the trigger on this gun, and then the dinosaur attacks them. What? I mean, all right. Or you could just shoot them with said gun. But fair enough, whatever. The dumbest, and they've taken that and they've rather than being like, right, maybe we should just bury this under the carpet, and just pretend that was a thing in that film. We're not going to bring that back in. We're going to take a more realistic, more approach in this film. No. This time she's just got like a clicker.
Just doubles down.
She just points the laser, literally a pointer. It's like one of those laser pens you had in school. Just points the laser at someone, and then the Velociraptors just automatically know that that's the person they've got to attack, because I guess they've got some chip built into their head or some bullshit. It's so wank, and that is just an excuse for the shitty, lazy filmmakers or writers of this film to have an excuse to then have the raptors chase just Owen while he rides a motorbike through the city of Morocco, wherever they are.
Honestly, better directors, better producers would have buried that concept with
so dumb.
one clever line. You've seen it before in movies where they take maybe like a little like comment. One of the ones I think is like really cheesy, and I kind of like, only because of just like the pure disdain I have for the film, is in X-Men Apocalypse, where Jean says when they come out of the cinema in the mall, they come out of Return of the Jedi, and she's like, third one's always the worst. And I'm just like, just a nice little dig at Last Stand, little bit of a retcon, because obviously everything that's happened before, they've buried the worst bit of the franchise. you know,
Ironic
up until
as that is the third installment of the new films
yes,
as well.
and he's also pretty bad.
Yeah.
But, you know, people who have a little bit of, like, self-awareness would be like, right, we created a gun that laser points to someone.
Yeah.
But when you actually pull a trigger, they don't die. You literally send an animal after that person. Yeah. It is I'd say top 20 or top 10 most bullshit things I've seen in a Hollywood film.
Yeah.
I mean, like A tier Hollywood film. Like B movies are their own thing. But in terms of like a Hollywood film that's like, we've got an idea, it's really terrible.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, let's distance ourselves from what people were like, that's ridiculous. They doubled down and they brought it back worse. And
They're
it's
like,
just
hey,
like,
did you catch that Austin Powers movie, you know, where Dr. Evil says he wishes he could have sharks with freaking laser beam? We should put that in the movie.
Yeah, we should put that in the movie.
We should put that in a Jurassic Park movie, only with velociraptors.
Oh my god!
Somebody signed off on that.
I can probably tell you who signed off on it. But the it's crazy that's like one of the biggest action scenes in the film.
Yeah, and
it's on one of the concepts that is one of the worst out of 6 films.
And it's just I mean, I really don't enjoy any of that.
No,
you know, I don't because I'll tell you for why. Because I'm not an idiot, and these Jurassic World films, they treat their audience, their viewers, like we're idiots. They think we're just dumb, sort of, you know, just well, they think we're just a bunch of fucking idiots who
whatever you plaster up on that screen,
we'll just because and if you like these movies, you're an idiot. So I'm calling you out. These movies are fucking dumb, and you're dumb for liking them because they are just dumb. It's just all, you know, like all these set pieces, these random action scenes that are so fucking over the top and pointless, and just it's insulting. It's insulting to my intelligence. It's insulting to the previous films. I mean, God, the fucking even the Spinosaurus with the ringing telephone stuck in its throat in Jurassic Park 3 seems intellectual compared to the dumbness of these fucking films.
He ate someone who was holding a mobile phone.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it ring?
Yeah.
I
mean,
honestly, as it is, it makes sense.
Yeah. Speaking of Jurassic Park 3, right?
Yeah.
Just to defend it a bit more, because it's considered the worst in the franchise. I think that's so unfair compared to these garbage films, because at least in that film there are moments in that film that are really, really good. You know, like that. I know we've talked about it before, but that the whole sequence with the in the giant the big
in the cage
with the pterodactyl.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's one of the best sequences in
Jurassic
any
Park.
Jurassic Park film. That's such a cool, and interestingly, that whole sequence was written, storyboarded for the first film.
Lovely.
Right?
Because, I mean, the enclosure looks like something they'd have at a theme park.
At Isla Nublar.
So.
Yeah, exactly. But still, that was such a good bit in the film. And there's a lot of bits in that film that are good, you know. There's some good scenes, but it's just anyway, but whereas in this film particularly, it's just I don't know, it's just every scene is just like a tacked on action scene that didn't need to happen, that they've just done for the sake of it because they thought it would look cool. They thought they'd sell some merchandise, some product placement or whatever.
So ironic that they want to sell. I know Jurassic Park sold a lot of merch, as in the film itself.
Yeah.
But one of its criticisms, especially in the book, is like it's about capitalism and it's about taking something so natural and making it so corporate.
Yeah.
And the irony between Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World was completely lost. Where so much time had passed that I feel like the Universal were like, well, the message is gone. Like the message of like the original 2.5 to 3 films is gone. And the audience who enjoyed it because they were like, well, yes, it is a good film. Like even if you're watching it as a child for the dinosaur action, or if you're watching it for the drama as like an adult, or you know, looking at it as an overarching commentary on certain areas, I feel like all of that was between 3 and World. Universal made sure that everyone forgot about it. And then they were just like, oh, look at this like brightly coloured movie that's coming out. Great saturation. Chris Pratt, he's quite popular now. You know, so they basically they didn't heed their own warning. You know, and I'm not talking their warning about cloning dinosaurs. I mean, like, by making something so just vapid and trying to just make money out of it. And I'm just like, well, Universal didn't make Jurassic Park. I mean, obviously they knew it would probably make a lot of money. Steven Spielberg and dinosaurs is going to make a lot of money. But even Steven Spielberg was like, there is a message behind this. Maybe not as big as the message in the book, but there's still something there. Whereas all of these there's no message.
What is the message? What we have to learn to live with dinosaurs.
Buy a T-shirt with Jurassic Park or Jurassic World on it.
Money.
I mean,
that's the message. We both wearing Jurassic Park T-shirts. But
the message is
money.
The first one is message is money, because it made $1 billion out of basically throwing the bare minimum at you.
And also in Jurassic World, they say the reason they've created that stupid fucking Indominus Rex
for money
is because the park isn't doing as well financially, so they've had to like create this clone dinosaur thing to try and sell to make more money, right? And then obviously it's like it all goes tits up, it escapes, it causes havoc, the park closes down, whatever. That's the message.
Maybe it is the message.
So,
but a bad one.
But
like,
then they keep on making the films, and they get like worse.
So they didn't heed their own message from Jurassic Park, let alone their own message from 2 movies prior.
But by this film though, the message, whatever the message was, which I still don't know what it really is. Is it about corporate greed? Is it about conservation? Is it about the right to live, like life? Who fucking knows? Because by this film, all of that, there's 17 plots going on all at once. None of them have anything to do with dinosaurs. The main one is about these locusts. And this,
oh my God, the
locust subplot is so. I mean, the thing about as well, and this is another thing that I found very egregious about these films, these 3 films, is it's so much more prevalent in this film particularly. Is that there has to be like there's like a baddie, with like a sort of Dr. Evil plot going on. Like, when did these films become a fucking like save the world action hero versus villain thing? The Jurassic, the original trilogy, like, sure, it has antagonistic characters, who have sort of questionable motives, but it doesn't, there's not like, I don't know, but they're just like, even the characters in those films, they're just even the ones that are unlikable, they're just sort of dicks, really. They're not like, but these new Jurassic World films, it's like, oh, we have to have a villain, with a plot, with a scheme, and they have to get their comeuppance at the end.
Another video that I saw recently on YouTube was that even in the previous 3, in the original trilogy, like, to your point, the people who you'd be saying are the most antagonistic, bar the guy who is the head of InGen when Hammond relinquishes his staff.
His nephew in The Lost World.
There's no other real bad guy, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Even like Roland, Pete
Roland's
Postlethwaite,
not a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy.
He's a hunter. He's on the InGen team, but he's not a villain.
No, that's what I'm saying.
He's not like a.
This is what they were outlining. Is that there's a lot more morally grey in the first three.
Yeah.
Because even Hammond with good.
I was just going to say that in Jurassic Park, really, the villain, if you have to have a villain, is John Hammond.
If you have to have a human villain,
right?
It's Hammond.
And but he has a character arc. By the end of the film, he's when Alan Grant says to him, he says, "Mr. Hammond, after careful consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park." He goes, "So have I."
Yeah.
So he sort of learns his lesson.
Great lines that you'll be remiss to thinking that in this trilogy, this current trilogy, they couldn't have a line like that if their life depended on it.
No, I know. Well, I know.
And because that line is like, it's not like Life Will Find a Way, more iconic. That one is just like a little bit tongue in cheek, but a little bit like, look what you've done.
Yeah.
Like this is not right. And he's just like, I know. Whereas everything else in this trilogy from World onwards is just so fucking forgettable, and there's no like clever writing. There's no writing where you're thinking, oh, I see what they did there. And to your point with villains, in stark contrast to the last, to the original trilogy, let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
In Star Wars terms, but in this sequel trilogy, there's the guy. Is it Romani who is in the first one? I don't think that's correct.
Kingpin.
No. Sorry, not Vincent D'Onofrio. No. Sorry, the guy who runs the park.
Yeah.
He is basically until he meets his demise.
Yeah, and then the army guy, and then the second film you've got Rafe Spall, the other star of Life of Pi.
Yeah,
as
I know, right?
a villain.
Yeah.
So
and then
who straight up like murders
and
Benjamin Lockwood.
Yeah, and then
it's
even
like, now I control the dinosaurs.
Maniacal laugh.
But then he gets his comeuppance, obviously. And then in this film, you've got like what was it? Tim
Cook.
Tim Cook
from Apple.
Yeah.
Couldn't make him any more like the current CEO of Apple.
I know. And he's like, oh, he's got like an island layer. Welcome to my island layer.
The headquarters of the company looks exactly like the Apple headquarters. It's like a massive circle.
I know. It's so on the nose. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, and he's got this like evil scheme to. He unleashes a bunch of, I don't know, what are they? Are they dinosaur locusts? Or are they clone locusts? Or they're just big locusts, genetically engineered locusts.
Yeah.
So nothing to do with dinosaurs.
No.
Out in the world to eat up all the crops so that Biogen can provide the crops for America.
Yeah.
I mean,
they have the cure.
It's straight out of a fucking Austin Powers plot. I mean, or a cheesy Bond film from the 70s. I mean, what the fucking fuck? And that's the thing that the legacy characters, they're known. I fucking hate that phrase. They're the original the better characters. That's the thing they're investigating. So Super Soldier and Ginger Pubes, they're off trying to find Clone Lady, right? And Clone Girl, whatever. They're off doing the Mission Impossible kidnap plot thing. Meanwhile, poor old Laura Dern and Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum, they're caught up in this, investigating these genetically engineered locusts plot. This sort of B-movie, this weird B-movie. It's like someone said, the cast of Jurassic Park star in this B-movie, Locust or something, where it sounds like a cheesy B-movie. The villain's like Tim Cook. There's a plague of locusts.
It's so thinly veiled that it feels B-movie. You know, like it's so like there was no effort really put into the ins and outs of it. And they were just like, well, who's the villain? It's like, well, you know, Silicon Valley these days, you know, well, you know, Mark Zuckerberg these days, you know, and it's just like,
but why does it have to be a villain?
Yeah.
The Jurassic Park films are survival films about the dinosaurs. They're not action adventures that need a bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, an antagonist who will get his comeuppance at the end. And I mean, you know, I mean, if there's, I tell you what, the scenes I liked from this movie as well were so short and inconsequential to the plot, but I like this. The scene where Claire inexplicably gets ejected from the plane because it's about to crash.
Yeah.
Because of course it's going to crash because they need to get from A to B.
Yeah.
How else are they going to get there other than crashing?
Yeah, I know,
they can't
right?
just not smoothly land. They have to have a crash scene, which we know they're going to survive. And lo and behold, they crash and they're both completely fine.
Yeah.
Because they're both genetically engineered super soldiers. But anyway, so they eject Claire for some reason because Chris Pratt's like, because even though she sat in the back, the pilot's like, oh yeah, there's only one ejector seat and it's hers. And they're like, oh, Chris Pratt's like, you have to eject. She's like, why? She's like, because you're the only one who can find Maisie. And it's like, aren't you ex-Navy SEALs? And don't you have a super telekinetic power where you can control dinosaurs with the power of your palm?
Yeah.
So why the
fuck? Didn't you hunt down Osama bin Laden? Chris Pratt was in Zero Dark 30. If you don't get that reference.
Okay, so that was a good... yeah. Aren't you the only human being capable of holding that what's that stone?
Triceratops.
What's that magical stone? From Guardians of the Galaxy.
I guess it's just like the Power Stone.
The Guardians of the Galaxy stone.
Yeah.
Anyway, but whatever, they eject Claire because, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And
because they need some sexual tension between.
Because they need to crash so that they can have a fight with the dinosaur and be all cool.
Yeah.
And she will just get in the way. So they eject her into the fucking jungle.
Yeah.
Now, I actually quite enjoyed the scene in the jungle where it's just her on her own, and there's a dinosaur there, another random fucking dinosaur.
Because it felt more like the old movie.
Exactly. And she has to, using her wits, she like very slowly crawls towards this like gross looking swamp, and she swims into the swamp as the dinosaur's slowly approaching her, and then she just sort of slowly goes under the surface of the water.
Isn't it because the dinosaur's blind? Is the dinosaur blind?
Well, it's a herbivore, isn't it? But for some reason it's hunting her.
Either that or because she remembers like all their visions based on.
But maybe so she goes into the water and it's like hovering over the surface of the water. And she's under the water holding her breath, thinking like I'm gonna run out of air soon. I liked that scene.
See that shot where Bryce Dallas Howard is going under the water. I feel like is like one of the most memorable shots / scenes of that movie, and encompassing all three. Jurassic
and
World.
Then the other bit I liked was again literally with her where she gets to like the command center or whatever, and the you know the
yes
are there. What I don't know what they're called, the spitting dinosaurs, the ones that killed Newman.
Yes. The actual character Newman from Seinfeld.
Hello, Newman. And
hello, Spitter.
And they're there. That was a good scene.
Yeah.
Although, you know,
why are they there?
Although what? And then Chris Pratt just inexplicably appears out of nowhere and just fucking like fucking grabs one by the neck and like holds it, like just takes it down single-handedly because, you know, of course, because he's a Terminator.
Smashes it with his vibranium shield. Yeah.
And then after they all meet up, whatever, and then there's a bit with the Gigantosaurus because and then there's another thing. And this, to be fair, this trend started with Jurassic Park 3, but they keep introducing these new dinosaurs that are supposed to be bigger and badder than the T-Rex. No one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Stop trying to replace the T-Rex with these new dinosaurs that aren't as cool, and no one gives a shit about these new dinosaurs.
These dinosaurs are like a metaphor for the films themselves.
Trying to get bigger and better with worse CGI.
Yeah, and honestly, I said this. I don't know. I think I put it on our Two Wheels Twitter actually, where I said that the quicker that you see the quote from whoever gives a certain film a good rating or a good sentence that they throw up in the trailer, the quicker that comes up on screen, the shit of the film.
Yeah.
Complete opposite with dinosaurs in Jurassic Park films. The more dinosaur you see, the shit of the film.
Yeah.
And this one was fucking. They were everywhere.
Yeah.
For something that's just turned into a plot device, like you said, for something that is supposed to be the main thing.
Yeah.
That is now the secondary thing.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be seeing it. It shouldn't be like every other scene.
Yeah.
Features loads of shots of dinosaurs with absolutely zero tension, without any real threat of danger.
Yes.
And these films, you're like, I see so many dinosaurs that I'm just like, they're not a threat because no one fucking dies.
Yeah, that's another great point you've touched on. And this was another gripe I had was, there's no tension in these films because no one is at risk.
No.
I honestly, I knew going into this film, I knew that none of them were going to die. I really had a strong feeling that was going to happen. And sure enough, they didn't. And it's like, well, where's the peril? I mean, in the first Jurassic Park film, I mean, there's how many? There's like 8 adults. There's sort of 8 main adult characters, not including Tim and Lexi. And out of them, 4 of them get killed. Right?
Yeah.
So, and it's quite gruesome. Like, you see Samuel L. Jackson's arm.
Yep.
You see one of the raptors, you see latch its head onto its face onto Muldoon's head.
Yeah.
You see in Lost World, when people get killed, you see like blood like trickling through in the river. I mean, but it's like, and even in the Lost World, it's like one of the quote good characters, Eddie, gets killed in quite a spectacular way.
Yeah.
So, but in this film, I mean, I never thought they were in any peril. I mean, the only bit I thought that maybe something might happen was when there's one point where I think Ian recreated the scene from the first film where he's like, he's got like a stick that's on fire and he's like waving it to get the attention of the dinosaur to distract it.
Yeah.
And for some reason, and I thought watching it then, I thought, oh, they killed off Ian Malcolm now. That would be so like
dramatic. It would be
dramatic.
Drama, yeah.
That would be quite epic. But and I don't know. I mean, I don't know how I'd feel about it. I mean, would I be sitting here slating it if they had, or would I be like, that was brilliant? But
I mean,
now I think it would have been brilliant.
Yeah.
But obviously he's fine. All of them are fine. Even they introduced like 2 new characters. So there's already 6 of them.
Yeah.
There's already Alan, Ellie, and Ian. Super Soldier, Chris Pratt, and Bryce Dallas Howard, Clone Girl. There's already 6 of them. Then there's 2 new characters: Pilot Lady.
Yep.
And
Pilot Lady from the 1930s.
Yeah, Pilot Lady from The Mummy Returns.
Yeah.
And I don't know, tech guy like Ian Malcolm's sidekick.
Oh yeah. From
so there's 8 of them.
He works at Apple. Yeah.
And also like BD Wong's there, Henry Wu. He's like a good guy now because he's grown his hair.
Yeah.
So he's suddenly like, oh, actually, even though I was a complete arsehole in the last two films, now I've changed my mind.
Even though I've done evil things.
So I'm a good guy now. So he survives. So nine of them all survive. Even though there's so much more action and so much more stupid fucking CGI dinosaurs attacking them all the time and all this crazy stuff happening to them, yet they all survive. They're all fine at the end. There's no peril. There's no danger. And this is the thing I said with movies nowadays as well, is they raise the stakes to astronomical heights, to stupid heights. They raise the stakes from a small group of people trying to survive on a small island. They've raised the stakes to the whole world is at stake. If they don't stop these locusts, it's the end of the world. This is like save the world shit. So they've raised the stakes to 1,000, but really, the peril is completely zero,
surface level.
Yeah. Because it's
they've shifted it upwards. You've got this dynamic where it's like the peril is medium. The danger is medium, and the likelihood of death is like medium to high.
Yeah.
There's a real possibility. They've just shifted that dynamic all the way up, where like the peril's so high, it's like, but don't worry about any of your favorite characters.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. The thing is, like, and people would say, well, okay, well, what's the solution then? Who could have died? Who could have got killed? You wouldn't have been happy if they'd killed off Alan Grant, or they killed off Ian Malcolm, or whatever. People say, well, people weren't happy when they killed off Han Solo in The Force Awakens, but I don't think them killing off Han didn't bother me. It was the way he died that bothered me. Yeah. It was the fact that Luke and Leia weren't there, and it was a shit death.
Yeah,
that's what bothered me. But it's I don't know. I mean, they knew it was the last film in the franchise, so I don't know. Maybe Chris Pratt could have heroically sacrificed himself at the end to save them, or
I reckon Claire should have died.
Claire, or Alan. I mean, fucking hell, poor.
Or both.
Sam Neill had absolutely nothing to do in that film. He literally did nothing. He was just there to sort of look confused and be like, what? Like, he just, honestly, could have not been in the film. I mean, Ellie had a sort of role to play in the Locust subplot, and Ian was working for Biogen for some reason.
Yeah,
so
to infiltrate them, apparently.
Yeah, but even though that other character, his sidekick, was basically doing the same thing, so like
they just had two people for the same role.
The same role. So they didn't need any of them.
One more thing that I thought was just. I was cringing so hard when they did it.
Yeah.
Was the shot from the original movie with Laura Dern, where she is in the Jeep and Alan is telling her to look at to look at, obviously it turns out they cloned dinosaurs. In the first movie it's like mind blowing. It would blow your mind, like, as her reaction, iconically portrays.
Yeah.
Her jaw is like on the floor, and they recreate the shot, and what she's looking at is some eaten cornfields.
Yeah, some CGI locusts.
Some CGI cornfields that have no corn in them. Yeah. They've been like turned up.
She takes the sunglasses off, and in the same iconic way.
Oh my god! I was just like, what have you done to this film? It's yeah. I feel like it's one of the worst ways of trying to recreate a moment, and Hollywood has done it a lot in the last 14, 15 years. When I saw that, I was thinking we've reached we've reached just above the bottom of the barrel. And because it's like, it's an iconic moment, and you shouldn't try and recreate it anyway.
Yeah.
But to do it for just like, oh my God, like these locusts have like eaten all this field. Right? I feel like even if someone really was dealing with that situation in real life, they'd be like, shit. They'd be like, shit. Like, we need to...
Yeah.
But the reaction would not be as dramatic.
Yeah.
And it's just so out of place and such a little... You're trying to nod to the original, and it's just like in the worst possible way.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of dumb decisions in this film.
Yeah,
and that was...
kind of top 4, I think.
Yeah, I mean, another thing they did, which was much more subtle, I don't know if you noticed, but there's one scene where they wear the same costumes that they had in the first film.
Do they?
So she's wearing like a pink shirt tied up.
Oh, really?
And
is that when they're in like the mines or something?
No, when they first land in Virgin.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And Ian's wearing the leather jacket, and Alan's got a blue shirt on, and then the hat. So it's like, oh, they're even wearing the same clothes. Remember when they wore those clothes in the first film? So that happened.
Right.
But yeah.
So subtle that no one cared.
Oh, really? God. This film's so fucking dumb. Yeah. I mean, and I don't know. It's just so many things that... Like, and also, like, why did they make Lewis Dodson the main villain? Dodson! We've got Dodson here. Nobody cares.
He was just a lackey.
Nobody cares.
He was just a...
Yeah, nobody cared about Dodson. Newman said nobody cared.
No one cares, and we still don't. All these years later.
Yeah. You know
30 years later.
Dodson was the main villain in The Lost World. In the book, right?
Oh, okay.
But that's not explained in the movies. That's not fleshed out. He just turns up in this film, and he's Tim Cook. So... I mean, that's dumb. And also, he has it when he's like leaving the office. He has the can, right? How the fuck did he get the can? Where was when did that happen? Newman lost the can.
Yeah.
In the river of sludge.
Yeah.
Right. So how did he get the can? Well, I mean, I'd like to have seen a prologue where it shows them like flying the helicopter into Usa Nublar, and they're like looking around. It's like we found it, and then there's the can. That
should have been your opening scene.
Why do they even why does he have it anyway? Like, don't they say that they've only got a certain amount of time in the can, before they go, the DNA goes like dud or whatever.
But they don't care, so it doesn't matter.
So he's got the can, and then he goes on like some sort of space shuttle thing and gets killed off by spoilers. By the way, you forgot to say this at the start of the podcast. Spoilers.
He gets on a fucking hyperloop.
Gets killed by the spitters.
Oh my god!
Even though they were like out in the jungle, they've somehow found their way into the tunnels, and they've somehow decided to congregate around this pod, just because Lewis Dodson's there, just because he had a scene with Newman in the first film who got killed by them.
Yeah.
So that's...
They're trying so hard to connect it. Also,
that's how they knew. The spitters, that's how they knew. They were like, oh, this guy.
Don't tell me they're the same ones.
That fat guy who we killed in the first film, he must knew this guy.
He knew him.
So we're going to kill him as well.
Yeah. Also, I know this sounds really pedantic, but I have to say it because when I was watching it, it was in my mind.
Yeah.
Was the train the thing that they get?
Oh yeah.
Is a hyperloop.
Yeah. It's the same one that Blofeld has in You Only Live Twice, where Bond's traveling through the volcano layer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I say in real life, but in the reason why it's able to travel so fast is inside is like a vacuum.
Yeah.
So if he was to, there's no air.
Right.
He climbs out when it stops. There'd be no air. He'd die.
Oh, right. I did not know that.
And these dinosaurs would not be able to be in there.
Definitely not.
No, because that's how it travels so fast.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, it stopped. I better climb out. he wouldn't be able to open a door. They wouldn't. That wouldn't happen. But if he did get out, and it was, there'd just be no air in there. He'd just be dead.
Also,
It's all bullshit.
The Fallen Kingdom at the end, right? Yeah. So, how many dinosaurs are in that mansion?
I mean, in terms of how big the mansion is, surely you'd only be able to fit about 5.
I was going to say, but don't they say there's like 40 or something, right?
Yeah, sure.
And obviously, we talked about in the previous podcast about how fucking dumb it is that just for the sake of the movie, so they can all fit in the basement, they're all the same size.
Yeah.
The Brachiosauruses, which are the size of skyscraper, are the same size as like a Stegosaurus, which is about as big as a double decker or bus or whatever. Yeah. So they're all the same size, just so they can fit in the basement. Just taking on the scene where Maisie's like, "They're real, like me," and then she presses a button and they all escape.
You're a murderer, you clone baby bitch. Yeah.
Well, she's not a clone. Apparently, she's. This is another retroactive retcon. So, what? I don't know if you remember, but the retroactive retcon in Fallen Kingdom was so severe that we named retroactive retconning James Cromwelling after this.
Yes, yeah.
But in this film, they retconned the retcon because it turns out that it was actually her mother who was the genius behind Jurassic Park. Yep. She was working with John Hammond and Benjamin Lockwood, the retcon of John Hammond. She was also a main player in the thing, but she was the good one because she's a woman. Yep. And she made a daughter clone of herself so that she can. I don't know why did she do it again?
No idea.
I've no idea, but she does it.
That plot is like you've got the main plot.
Yeah.
You've got the B plot.
Yeah.
And then the plot with clone baby, not clone baby, / James Cromwell in Inception.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like D, E, F.
Oh yeah.
That's
Z
that's
plot.
That's not even the top 4 things of what's going on.
But anyway, clone who's not really a clone or whatever, she lets them out, right?
Yes.
At the end of the film. I mean, so they're in this mansion, right? I mean, there must be about...
It's in America as well.
40 of them.
Yeah.
And it's in America, the United States of America.
Yeah.
Which, yes, it's connected to South America.
Yeah.
Yes, it's connected to Canada.
Yep.
But it's not connected
to the rest
of the fucking world.
Yeah.
And yet, in this film, somehow those 40 dinosaurs of varying species have colonized the whole world.
Yeah.
And there's like mass herds of them all over. So like that stupid scene in the beginning where Owen is like lassoing 4-ton fucking dinosaurs. There's a whole herd of them things.
Yeah.
But
and it's been
surely there was only like one in the mansion.
Yeah. It's been like what, a couple of years?
There's like herds of Triceratops and Stegosaurus. They're all over the world, right? That's the whole premise of this film. They're everywhere. Yeah. How the fuck can 40 dinosaurs? Let's assume that. I mean, even if 20 of these dinosaurs were different species and male, and the other 20 were female, and they all mated.
Yeah.
Even then, there would not be the world would not be covered in dinosaurs.
No, yeah.
So how the fuck? What's going on with that? How has that happened?
Even if you give them the benefit of the doubt to say this, that. No, actually, I'm not going to because that would be stupid. But it's.
But it's dumb.
Yeah.
But whatever, we're dumb. We're fucking idiots.
But
as far as the filmmakers,
but there's hundreds of thousands of them now.
Yeah, they're literally all over the world. But listen, bro. We're 4 beers in now, so. Yeah. But we haven't even mentioned, and this is for me. I mean, this is the saving grace of the movie.
What?
So
what saving grace?
The saving grace of the movie. This is the thing where I was like, thank God that they they developed this.
Right.
Because this was a thing that I felt needed some sort of, because there was a whole will they won't they thing going on. So I'm glad that they finally moved on from that. So at the start of this movie, obviously Owen's there.
Fuck's sake.
With Claire and Maisie. They're living in this farm in America, whatever. Obviously, Blue, as we know, the ex-wife of Owen, very awkward. As we established in the last film, she was livid. She was livid. She saw him on the monitor getting close to the the clone raptor that was a clone of a clone or whatever, and she weren't happy. I mean, how did she sound on the monitor when she saw that? So that's what she said. So she was fuming. But then, so she's obviously livid. We're not sure, and we're thinking, why is she so livid at this point? Why is she's literally stopping to look at a monitor and be like, that's go. Yeah. You did better than me, but the point is,
I gave it like 10%.
The point is, so she's livid. But so Blue's free at the end of that film, right? I mean, as we noted in the last podcast, Owen literally says to Blue at the end of that film, "Come with me," right? And Blue's like, gives him a look like, "I can't," and goes off.
Yeah.
In the next film, Blue's living out in the woods behind their cabin. She
could have been anywhere in the whole of the fucking...
Well, listen, she's obviously jealous because Claire's there. Obviously, Bryce Dallas Howard is hot.
Keeping a close eye on that.
And Blue's jealous.
Yeah.
They've got a family unit now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So he's out there. Blue's jealous. However, and I'm thinking, so why is Blue hanging around, right? Why is she hanging around? She's got the whole of America and South America and Canada. Yeah. She's got that whole island, if you will, that whole bit of land that she can migrate around. But she decides to hang out in the woods behind their cabin. Why? Well, we discover why.
Yes. Because
she turns up out of the blue like a crazy ex would with a child. So, and it's like, and if we're all like, this is awkward. Like, if it's not awkward, I mean, it's awkward enough when Blue turns up and her and Owen are like giving each other like the eye. Claire's like, oh god, like why can't you just get over her?
Yeah.
But then the little baby
Bluette.
Bluette comes out. What is it called? Beta.
Oh fucking hell.
And they just explain, all the dinosaurs fucking hermaphrodites or whatever. They can just make babies, by themselves. Okay, whatever.
That shit was established in the first movie. So
that was established in the first movie.
That's the only thing that I could get over.
That frogs can change sex, whatever. Yes. So Blue turns up with her baby, and it's quite obvious from the get-go, I think, that Owen is the father of...
It looks like Chris Pratt. It's just got the jawline and the beard.
So Blue's like looking at him.
Yeah, like, where's my alimony?
Looking down at looking at him, looking down at the baby, and Owen's like, God, it's like Claire's like, Owen, you want to tell me something? And he looks over. He's like, I think this might be my son.
Fucking hell, man. The fucking sexual tension between that man and the dinosaur.
Even though Blue's not in this film that much, Blue, because like with all Hollywood movies and Hollywood in general, when an actress gets to a certain age, she just gets brushed aside. So Blue has unfortunately been
when playing Blue in Jurassic World, Blue was in her early 20s.
She was young. She was a young actress, but now she's a bit older. They're not interested in her anymore.
They're not really.
They're giving her a glorified cameo, and that's the best they can offer her.
Basically,
But her offspring,
the
son of her and Owen,
Yeah. Millie Bobby Blue.
Millie Bobby Blue takes take your shirt off, takes a prominent role, and so Owen's now. So this is the other thing as well. So as well as trying to, because Beta gets kidnapped, right?
Yeah.
So as well as trying to rescue Maisie,
Beta gets kidnapped.
Owen's also. So it's like Owen's like he's trying to rescue both his kids here because he's got his biological son, which is Beta, and his adopted daughter Maisie Lockwood have both been kidnapped by the Russians or by the Koreans or whatever the fuck they going with. Who are the Treadstone?
By fucking Treadstone. That's why Bryce Dallas Howard has to.
She does a born jump out.
Born Dallas Howard has to get.
Oh, that pesky Treadstone are back again.
Yeah. There's what's her name?
Yeah.
From 10 Things I Hate About You. Julia.
Julia Stiles is there in a toilet. She's got the headphone on. She's like, we're spying him. Jason Bourne's in the building. Everyone are good. Yeah.
Born Dallas Howard's gone
That's
on
right.
Into the Autobahn. Yeah.
That's right. Do you know, and do you know what, the last shot of the film probably should have been Bryce Dallas Howard just in a cabin, like, mucking about. She gets a phone call. Dude, what's that unknown number? Picks up the phone. Hello, and then you hear Matt Damon's voice like, "This is Jason Bourne." She's like, what do you want? And then he's like, get some rest, Claire. You look tired. And then she looks out the window like, and it's like, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man. This.
Yeah.
Honestly, the parody levels of this film are they're just outrageous.
Yeah.
There's no cohesion. There's no in the original trilogy there's a real horror element.
Yes.
Where, like you said, it's gone full action adventure. You know, it's gone through to a genre that it should not be in.
Yeah.
Because this is the result. You know, this is the result. How do we do this? Oh, I don't know. Let's just have the Velociraptor have had a child, and you're like, my eyes can only really roll so much, you know, and it's very well summarized by, you know, by the fact that Chris Pratt has to pay alimony to a Velociraptor.
He's fuming about that.
He's fucking fuming.
Yeah,
he's like
fuming
$2,000 a month down the hole for that.
Yeah.
Kid, yeah. So anyway, it's
18 years, 18 years, and then Blue comes up and says it won't even his. So, yeah.
So
no, but taking it back to a serious level, because we do try to keep it serious on
super serious
on this
podcast.
I mean, look, this film was a big disappointment. I mean, look, guys, people say, I mean, you know, I know, you know, I said that this was weirdly my favourite film of the three, but
the bar's too low.
Yeah, but when you have the choice of being you know, splattered in the face with a pile of cow manure, or being splattered in the face with some sort of wet sloppy mud, you're gonna take the mud every time, right?
Right.
So my point is, people say, yes, this film's better than Fallen Kingdom, it's an improvement on Fallen Kingdom, right? But it's an improvement to in the same sense as I would rather be covered in mud than covered in shit.
Yes.
So whereas, you know, I'd rather, you know, this film is a big pile of wet sloppy mud, whereas Fallen Kingdom was a pile of wet, sloppy Triceratops crap.
That's a lot of
My
shit.
point is that it's not. It's just saying that this film's better than the previous film. That's not that doesn't mean this film's good. It's still bad. It's just the lesser of two evils.
Lesser of three evils in this case.
Three evils, yeah, and it's just it's a mess. It's a mess of a film. It's absolute. I mean, the filmmakers have just. I don't know what they're doing with this film. I really don't know what they're doing. I mean, they, it's. Oh God, it's just a shambles. It's just everything was disappointing. Everything was an anticlimax. Like I think it was Chris Pratt himself who described this film as the Avengers of the Jurassic saga, in that all these characters come together, right? And it's like the end game. And yes, and to an extent that's sort of true.
But in the worst way possible.
But the way it was executed was so flat. I mean, they meet each other and then they're just sitting around the command center and they're just like,
getting coffee.
Alan Grant's like, oh, you're Owen Grady, you train raptors. And he's like, yeah, you're Alan Grant, I read your book.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
Cool.
Okay, well,
That's the end
anyway,
of that,
so
yeah.
let's just carry on. It felt so anticlimactic and I don't know. Oh, another thing as well I wanted to point out was that, I remember I said at the time, I really enjoyed the fact that Ian Malcolm makes a comment on the ridiculousness of the Jurassic World films. And it was when, like Chris Pratt says about, I have to rescue Blue's Beta because I made a promise to Blue. And then Jeff Goldblum says, you made a promise to a dinosaur? I remember laughing at that at the time, and I thought that was very funny. And it is, but the more
Probably
I think
not
about
supposed
it,
to be, is it?
it makes me really annoyed.
Yeah.
Because it's like, right, so you as the filmmakers,
The writer.
you knew that was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You knew enough to make a comment about it in your own film, and yet you've still done it.
Yeah.
You've still gone ahead with that whole stupid palm, power palm thing where it's like,
The laser,
that annoys me.
The laser gun pointed at it, and a velociraptor will go for that person.
Yeah.
We were saying that is stupid, and
Yeah.
they should have buried that.
Yeah.
The whole hand thing is the thing that they should have buried in Fallen Kingdom.
They should have buried that in the first film.
Yeah, well,
because he was a trainer at the park, right?
Yeah.
So they should have, but no. In this film, it's like, and it's not just the raptors. Every dinosaur, and not just him. Every character now has the superpower of being able to stop dinosaurs.
Make eye contact
with their
and put your
palm.
hands out.
So, but listen, guys. But I guess what maybe the filmmakers are trying to make a point here. So, if you go on safari. And next time you're on safari and you get out the Jeep, right, go up to a pride of lions. And if one of the lions, like the male lions or probably the lionesses, let's be honest, if one of them gets up and starts making moves towards you, just put your palm out and it will definitely stop it.
You'll be fine.
And you won't get mauled to death.
No.
So...
like so many other people have.
So definitely try that. Because that is a thing that works.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I guess ratings?
Yeah, I guess rating.
Okay.
I guess.
So, what's this going to be out of?
Out of 5 Velociraptor child alimony payments.
Nice.
Or out of 5 shoehorned in Velociraptor updates. Because they what they did was between Jurassic Park, the original, and today, 30 years, 29 years, 30 years, give or take. It's obviously come out that Velociraptors look a little bit different.
Yeah.
what they decided to do was shoehorn the updated version of what scientists believe velociraptors look like into this movie when Chris Pratt, Captain America, worst dinosaur dad of the year, fights with the pilot lady.
Yeah.
For like no reason. And I was just like, I say this off the record. Sam's favourite bit was like, or not favourite bit, he was just like, oh yeah, but they've updated the look of the Velociraptor, haven't they? Like, that's what people have been asking for.
Of course,
I was like, no, they fucking haven't. Like,
was that supposed to be a Velociraptor?
Yeah, that's what.
God, I didn't know that.
That's what they are perceived to have actually looked like, with updated technology, with updated information.
Right, yeah.
And they shoehorned it right in. I'm like, this doesn't take place.
Why
in this
would they
world.
have that? But these movies have established what the Velociraptors look like.
Yeah.
Even though it might not be scientifically accurate now, this is what we established in the first film. We should just stick with that.
Yep. But they shoehorned that shit right in, and I'm seeing, and I'm guaranteeing you, this is not just Sam, but people are thinking to themselves, yeah, isn't it great that they've updated what a Velociraptor looks like and put it in a Jurassic Park movie?
Yeah.
The answer to that is no.
Yeah.
The answer to that is you're fucking wrong, because this doesn't take place in our world. This takes place in the world of the film.
Yeah.
And this is what they look like.
Yeah.
And, they've cloned these Velociraptors. This is what they look like in terms of the film.
Yeah.
Just get over it. You don't need the what people think they look like now, but scientists actually, updating as they go. That's just how science works. All right, get it. But it's just it's a movie. Like, just allow the Velociraptors to just be like that.
Yeah.
And the fact that you were like, how do we put these in? Oh, when they crash, inevitably crash, because they need to get somewhere, so they will crash. Let's just have one appear, and it can swim, and because it doesn't know water, but it can swim. So so just
and
really
Chris Pratt can fall in the water and then be totally fine afterwards, not have hypothermia.
No. Why would he? He's Captain America.
He's Wolverine.
Weapon 12 or whatever.
He's a superhuman.
Yeah.
So he's a Terminator.
I don't know. I'm gonna give it maybe do it out of updated Raptor appearances. There's other stuff that we could do. Out of double down James Cromwelling, or this one gives you loads of ample opportunity to choose loads of crazy and random bullshit that happens in the film to use as a rating for a podcast. So I don't know, what do you reckon?
I reckon that I'm going to do mine out of the alimony payments.
Out of alimony payments to Velociraptor. Yeah, lovely. What would you give it?
Well, you haven't done yours yet.
No, you can go first.
Oh, I'll go first.
Yeah,
okay.
Why not? Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to give this film a 1. So 1 alimony payment to a Velociraptor out of 5. So that's a 0.5 higher than Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
But a 0.5 lower than Jurassic World.
Yeah, but you said that it was the best out of the 3.
Yeah, I said it was my favourite.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say it was the best.
Right, okay. All right. Okay.
Such
a dilemma.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are the best. This is the problem. I can't give it a high. I can't give it a. A 1 out of 5. It's better than Fallen Kingdom, but as I said, it's better in the sense that it's mud compared to shit. It's nice seeing Laura Dern and Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum back. although, you know, I feel like they're really wasting this film.
You say that, it's good to see them back, but they don't really do that much.
No.
So it's nice to see them in that universe next to a T-Rex.
Yeah.
And not a lot else.
Well, it's
especially in Sam Neill's case.
It's good to see them back in that I'm literally sat there watching them on screen in the same shot together.
Yeah.
But in terms of their participation in the film, the story, it's garbage.
Yes.
But it's I guess so. It's good. I guess it's good to see them back. There was a couple of moments in the film that I thought were all right. But largely, I mean, overall, this film is garbage. I couldn't think this could get any worse. This franchise get any worse, and it did.
Yeah.
So, I just,
What did you give it? A 1?
A 1, yeah. I really feel like it's time for these, the Jurassic Park saga. I really feel like it's time for this to go extinct. And the sad thing is, I've been saying this over and over again now about so many of my beloved franchises from my youth. I just want them to die. I just want them to end.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of it. I mean, the only one I can think of really off the top of my head that I feel was still a nostalgia sequel, but a good one, was Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Which I've recently been watching reviews, which a lot of people didn't like it.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was great.
And I think that's the only one really that has potential to lead to a new franchise. So if you want to see a good nostalgia sequel that I think works and is good, watch Ghostbusters Afterlife. If you want to see a fucking terrible one, watch
all three of the
Jurassic World films.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 1.5 because I do...
So it's the same as World.
Yes, I do think that as much as, like you said, it's best of 3, which is, I won't say it again, but that's not great. And I can't give it anything more, but I can't give it anything less. Again, it's a bit of a... to give it a 1 would be like, it's definitely not Fallen Kingdom, but I can't. There's no wiggle room to give it a 2 or there's nothing that comes to my mind. Even with films that I don't particularly like, I can usually find a few silver linings. Say for like Shang-Chi, I thought the action was good, and I want to see how Shang-Chi as a character interacts with other people in the Marvel universe. Maybe a little bit less now because I feel like I'm fading a little bit in terms of enthusiasm for it. But those were things I was like, okay, I can cling on to those, even though I don't like the film.
Yeah.
Even with, the only ones that have been on this level is Eternals. It's just trash.
Yeah.
There is no silver linings. I try my best to be like, there's something about it that I can be like, I'll say that to someone when they ask what it's like. What is it like? Oh yeah, it's pretty bad, but there's this, that, and the other if you want to see it. This film has nothing. It's baseline. There's no, even with having the original 3 in the film, it's close enough to a wasted opportunity because they didn't really do anything with them. It's all right saying that they were on screen together, but that's the bare minimum. Having them on set together is like, you just put them on a fucking call sheet to be there on the same day. There's nothing for them to do together that's decent, iconic, great, groundbreaking, different, new, anything like that. There's nothing of that. So, another wasted opportunity, as all the three of these films are. You're resurrecting the Jurassic Park franchise. You're changing the name, doing a soft reboot, and even when you get to that, you're a little bit like, oh, okay. And then, you have 3 films which are around 6 hours of just wasting time. Just wasting time. And just slapping the Jurassic Park logo over the top.
Yeah.
And, we didn't even talk about the music.
Garbage. Yeah. They as I've said before in podcasts, they stood on the shoulders of giants that had come before them and shat all over them. So,
yeah.
They were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think about whether they should. That is a direct quote from Ian Malcolm in Jurassic Park. And yeah, you're right. And that's another thing that I found really egregious about seeing it was they didn't even use the fucking... the score was hardly used in that film, hardly used at all. It's so iconic, that score. It's such an epic theme tune. And they didn't use it. They didn't use it. I mean, the final shots of the film were like it was like a montage of dinosaurs like living amongst animals in the wild.
Yeah.
And they didn't even use the music. I mean, surely that was the moment to bring in the theme tune.
John Williams is going to retire
right?
after his next film. And you're not even going to put one of his many iconic theme songs in a sequel to one of the films that he's most known for.
It's a beautiful score. It's so iconic, and they didn't even fucking use. They didn't even use it for the end credits. It's a disgrace. I mean, that would be like us, for example, at Two Reels, not using our iconic closing theme tune for an episode and just using some new random piece of music that no one's ever heard before.